So she hung herself. Her mom got into her room in time, and found her daughter dangling. She was dangling there, and the mom screamed, "Blood of Jesus!" She went there, carried the child off, and cut the thing. You know what? It was just drama. And then she calls her husband, which is Trish's dad. She calls her husband, "Baby, you need to come home. You need to come home immediately. Like, Trish tried committing suicide. She's alive now. I'm rushing her to the hospital. Like, you need to come now." You see, the father got confused. So the father at work was with Uncle Nick because they work together, right? So they were at like a restaurant, I guess, or is it a pub? They were having their lunchtime. So then Trish's dad left his car at the company, so they had Uncle Nick's car. So he says to Nick, "Nick, we need to drive to the hospital. My daughter tried committing suicide, so we need to rush to the hospital like right now. I don't know what's going on, but something is wrong. Let's go." They jump into the car. So dad decided to drive Uncle Nick's car. Okay, he's on the wheel, driving, when a highway. Before you know it, they got into an accident. They didn't even make it to the hospital. They got into an accident, like it was really bad. Bah, 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 bah. You know what? So a truck caused that accident, and unfortunately they crashed and okay, cool. So then the ambulance came and rushed Uncle Nick and Dad to the hospital. So these two people were admitted in different hospital. Like, Trish was in a different hospital, her dad and Uncle Nick was in a different hospital, but it was not too far from each other. But we thank God, because God is God of all seasons. Okay, Trish's dad never got injured. Do you know those kind of accidents, right? He never got injured. Okay, but on the other hand, Uncle Nick was so injured, and Uncle Nick really cared about Trish. He's like a family friend. So okay, cool. Uncle Nick is he's out of it and everything. They tell him, "No, your friend is really hurt, like he's badly injured, so he's gonna stay in the hospital. You know what? It's great ICU. You know." So they told him, like, "But you are fine, but we're gonna have to keep you overnight." The man is like, "You cannot keep me overnight because my daughter tried committing suicide and I'm rushing to my daughter. So if you don't mind, I need to leave." So okay, now after explaining his story, they understood him, they examined him and realized, okay, he's not that bad, but he should come back to the hospital. So now obviously he can't drive the car because the car is damaged and there's a police matter, and so he had to Uber. So now in the crash, Trish's dad lost his phone somewhere in the crash, but then Uncle Nick's phone was there. So Uncle Nick had two phones, okay, and in his two phones, the one phone was for him and his family, and everybody knows that phone. And then there was a side life phone. That's what they called it, because Trish's dad knew about this phone, and that's where he does his nonsense in that phone. So he's like, okay, let me take this phone and call my wife. You understand? So he called using Uncle Nick's phone, like his phone, but it never had airtime. It never had data too. But then the other one had airtime. So okay, he takes that phone, right? Calls the naughty phone, calls his wife. His wife's phone goes straight to voicemail. Now he's panicking because like can't get hold of his family. Understand? Because he wants to let them know what happened and that he's on his way. You see, so he's like, shit, I can't get hold of my wife. Let me call Trish. He dials Trish's number. As he's calling Trish, this man's got Trish's number. It's not saved as Trish. It's saved as MNV, my next victim. Trish's dad became so weak. He became so weak, like, what the fuck? My next victim, my daughter. So now, before the phone could even ring twice, Trish's dad decides to hang up and go through his phone. Went through his phone, first rushed straight to WhatsApp. Okay, he went on WhatsApp and saw other conversations with other people, and then the one he was looking for was his daughter. Found his daughter's conversations with this man. He read everything from the first day they started chatting until the day this child tried committing suicide. This man saw pictures of his daughter naked, half naked, and doing all these evil things to herself. This man cried. Okay? He didn't need any confirmation. He didn't need to ask anybody anything. He didn't need nothing from no one. Because at that moment, he knew exactly what was going on. He knew the reason why this child tried committing suicide because of this bastard he calls his best friend. He was so mad, only to find that all these women that he keeps talking about to Trish's dad as his side chicks are not even women. They are little kids. Little kids. And guess what? He's also been chatting to his own daughter as another boy, just to see her privates. He's been chatting to neighbors' kids, his sister's kids, his brother's kids. Like everything was there. So this man is like, you know what? I am not going to sit around and let this happen. I'm going to deal with this like a dad should. Pause. Let's go back to Trish and her mom at the hospital. So Trish and her mom there at the hospital. Trish's mom is stressing, she's crying and all of that. So when before Trish committed or tried committing suicide, she wrote a suicide note, right? It was just right next to her phone because she was recording herself hanging herself. Okay, she put that on record. So then the mom had taken that note with her to the hospital but left the phone. So she read the note, and the note read, Mom, Dad, I'm really sorry for taking this selfish, awful decision, but it's all because I felt unloved. You guys never gave attention to me. You guys were always mean to me. You guys always put me last. You guys this, you guys that. She mentioned all the things her parents do, the things her siblings do, and that she didn't like it. But she eventually found a friend, a boyfriend that showed her love and attention. Little did she know that he was a monster. He was a devil himself. He made her do things that they are going to see on the internet shortly. If not, they can check her phone. And you know what? Her mom was like, check my phone. Like, you know what? She's so confused and everything. Fine. Back to Dad and Uncle Nick. So Dad decides, you know, before I leave this hospital, let me just clear the air. Let me help the doctors with their job. Dad went into the room where Uncle Nick was sleeping in, and he ended him. He unalived him. He put a pillow on this man's face, and yeah, it was load shedding. It was gone. He was gone. And then, okay, fine. Dad requested straight to the hospital, got to his wife and child, gave his daughter a hug. Like, you know what is a hug? That guilty hug, the I'm sorry hug, the you deserve better hug, the you all I have hug. Dad hugged his daughter, cried along his daughter. You know what? It was just an emotional thing. And his wife has never seen him like that. So she felt that whatever this is that is going on really hit my husband hard. So when they got home, Unana tried opening up to Dad and Mom of why she did what she did, you know, because none of them asked her why she did it, because they had the conversation and made her understand. They understand what has happened and why she did it, and what happened to the person who made her do what she did and who it was. They talked about it. They forgave each other. They begged for her forgiveness, like she also begged for their forgiveness. And you know what? They buried it and said, we're never talking about this ever again. And then Ugel is like, did you read my note? Dad's like, what note? Mom then says, there was a note that she wrote and gave the note. Dad just browsed through the note and tore it into tiny little pieces and threw it in the dustbin and said, we are never having this conversation ever again. Took her phone, seized it, and never gave it to her, and told her that she's not get a phone only when she is 20 years old. Let's pay attention to our children. I love you guys.